It's like Ellen without the abuse. But anyway, that's how we do the intros here. Good morning. How are you getting on?
That was amazing. Good morning. How's it going, Dan?
Good morning. Soft touch intro. Right. Anyway, hi everybody. We are back. It is the latest season of the Goosed Podcast. 2024 was absolutely fucking nuts, and 2025 is proving to be more nuts. I've already had some amazing conversations with some very cool founders, and I think I have some of my favorite ones on today. I have Tadhg and Allysa. Would you like to introduce yourselves and explain who the hell you are and what the hell you do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks, John, for having us. This is really cool. We've been looking forward for this for the last 2-3 months. I think it was the first time we mentioned it, right? So we're finally making it happen. Very exciting. So yeah, it's been a while, long time coming. So yeah, my name is Tadhg Mahon. I'm the founder and CEO of Shane Collective. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a transgender man, been an out member of the LGBTQ plus community for the last 2 decades. I have a background in international law, company management, and spent the last 5 years working in B2B tech sales, basically as a social impact specialist with Twilio. And founded Shane Collective in January of 2024 as a tech for good, mission-driven startup to leverage technology to build impactful solutions for the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm joined by Allysa.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. Yeah, my name is Allysa Falardo. Pronouns are she, her. I identify as a queer woman, pansexual community, essentially since I met Tadhg, as Tadhg is actually my husband. And so we met about 9 years ago now, which was kind of the big kickoff to a whole new realization of who I am. And my background work-wise is actually in classical music. I'm a classically trained pianist and performer. So don't have the tech background that Tadhg has, but I've definitely always had a lifelong love for just kind of doing what's right and caring about people and caring about people's rights and everybody getting to be who they are. And so I'm really excited to be on this ride with Tadhg.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I met Tadhg, Jesus, it's nearly a year ago now. At the NDRC pre-accelerators. And I think the thing that stood out to me straight away is in the technology field, like AI is the big buzzword. It's all about crypto. Yeah. It's all about the idea of tech for good seems to, over the last 2-3 years, die to death. And it's about money, and progression, progress. He stood out massively in that room to me because I was like, holy shit, this isn't about profit first. This is about people first. This is about tech for good first. And that's something that I think gets lost sometimes. Yeah, sure, we can have a profitable business, but we can also do something that's good for the world. So I suppose question one, what is Shane Collective and why did you start? The obvious
question. The obvious first question. First on your point there about technology and leveraging technology for good. I think especially in today's climate, there's kind of, I guess, a lack of visibility of the organizations that are for profit but leveraging technology to create impact. There are lots out there. It's just that I think that right now they're not getting, I guess, the spotlight that they need. And it's definitely an angle for us that's kind of been interesting because people kind of often confuse us with being either a nonprofit or a social enterprise, which are two very separate things as well. So for us, it's about creating a sustainable business and leveraging and using those profits then to create impact and making sure that we stay aligned with our mission and that we're continuously putting our mission first over just pure profits. So I think that's kind of where the distinction is important. But what is Shane Collective? Like I said, we're a startup, tech for good startup. So we are a business our business model is based on generating profits, and we're building basically tech solutions to empower LGBTQ plus communities globally. That's very vague.
Yeah,
what it really means.
It's such a wide space that makes sense.
It is. Yeah, it is, and it's a huge community, right? So we're talking like individuals, but we're also talking, businesses and entities and organizations. So like the solutions that we're building are both for individuals and for those entities. And right now, what we're building out is Shane, which is a platform, an app that is providing information, navigation, and safety tools to LGBTQ plus folks globally via an app. And we're also building out business solutions. So basically a business console where those businesses can go and purchase products that will connect them authentically to the LGBTQ plus audience. It's all kind of packaged into one, right? Yeah. So we have this one platform. And right now we've already launched our web app, our beta. So it's in beta since December, and we've been field testing. Thank you. We've been field testing it over the last 2 months, and are now actually about to launch our stable release next week for the web app. And then the mobile app side of things. So the web app is just focused on being able to search, rate, and review places. But then the mobile app will kind of be that search, rate, and review aspect of things, but also have additional components around safety, around navigation, around traveling, and businesses on their side can basically log into the business console, and they can purchase advertising products, but they can also purchase some subscriptions licenses for their employees, so employer benefit subscriptions. There's a whole other range of products on our roadmap, but
there's a lot in there. Like, I think
there is
deep diver into this. Well, I want to take you back a step. It's like, so as you said, you started this last January, right? So what happened? What was the spark of insanity? What was the moment where you went, holy shit, I have an idea. Wait, this is more than an idea. I actually have a business idea here. Or, how did Shane Collective come to life as a starting point?
So I've had this idea since probably 2018. I grew up in Cameroon, in France. I've lived in Vietnam. I love to travel, and being an LGBTQ plus person in the world is complicated and sometimes very dangerous, especially if you're going into new places or trying to kind of find service providers in either travel destinations or places you live. And so over the years, I've been looking for solutions of like, okay, which platforms out there can I use in order to find a trans-friendly barber, or a queer-friendly doctor, or just a real estate agency that will actually treat us with dignity and respect if we come in as a same-sex couple. Like, this was before I transitioned. And there just wasn't anything there that, on a global scale was going to provide that solution to me. And then as I was talking to other people about this, like, they also had that same issue. I mean, they were using all these forums and Reddit and Facebook groups and whatnot to find information around, like, okay, I want to go on a vacation to Italy with my trans girlfriend. Where can I go that's safe? Where can I go that I'm treated with respect? Where can I go that I can actually enjoy myself and not have to worry? And so that just kind of like, it started percolating and just evolving from like this, there's a massive gap there, to like, okay, what if we created something cool? And obviously I had a full-time job, and Allysa and I, got married, and we moved countries, and this whole thing kind of became even more important, because as I then came out as transgender and started socially transitioning before I was medically transitioning, it was very difficult for me to exist in the world, because I was very much still appearing as assigned female at birth, but I was going by, he, him pronouns, etc. So even just getting a plumber into the house to fix the toilet and, being able to just be myself around that person was very, very complicated. So the idea, continued to grow. And then Allysa and I decided to start a family. And yes.
I need to get sound effects for this podcast, because like there's like huge cheering box. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, there's a little miniature one of us.
Yeah. And she's here now, obviously, but this was back in 2023. Allysa was pregnant, and I just got to a place where I was going to become a father, and I wanted to go from oh, I have an idea, to I'm actually going to create something that can create a better world for my child, and that I can actually be a bit of a, not a role model, but that my daughter can basically look to me and say, you know, dad is actually someone who is trying to do something, not just kind of like a sofapreneur, or, you know, oh, I have a great idea, but I didn't do anything about it kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's really what was the moment where I was like, okay, I'm going to do it now, so that at least I can, no matter what happens moving forward, I can at least kind of like look at my daughter and say, hey, you know what? I gave it everything. And so founded Chain Collective in January 2024. That was how that came to be. Allysa, I don't know if you want to add anything
Yeah,
there.
I want to hear from Alicia's point of
Yeah.
view on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was ultimately all Tadhg's idea. So I was fortunate enough to get to be by his side while the whole thing developed. And it took a few years to get from initial thoughts to actually, going ahead and doing it. But in that time, we had really just experienced so much, especially appearing for a few years there as a same-sex couple before Tadhg had transitioned, and with spending time in all different countries together. It really just became abundantly clear that that the community just needs more kind of assurance that they're going to be okay. I mean, I'm originally from New York, from Long Island. It's really
I'm going
yeah,
to be there next
I know.
week. So I'm going to
Oh,
need some
will
little
you?
restaurant recommendations or something.
Oh yeah. Well, I can send some on. But yeah, so it's New York is a very different world than the south of France is, than Cameroon is, than a lot of the places that Tadhg and I had been to together. And so when we did get together and I moved over to Europe, um, a whole new reality kind of opened up to me, where I realized, like, you know what, people aren't always so comfortable being open. People aren't so comfortable with being around people who are different from each other. Um, and it really just became so clear that that we are not on you know an equal
Yeah.
playing field as everybody else. Yeah. And I mean, I have this one particular memory that stands out when Tadhg and I were early on in our relationship. I think it was the first time I had come back to Europe to see you after I had gone back to New
Yeah.
York, and we were in Spain in this tiny village Tadhg took me to for just like a little overnight trip to celebrate, like, I don't know, being back together, or maybe it was my birthday or something. I can't remember what it was exactly. There was a lot of wine that trip, so I can't really remember too much of what, of
You're
what we were doing.
romantic, too.
But what I do remember very, very clearly is the second we rolled up, the second we got out of our car, every eye in that tiny village was on us from the moment we arrived until the moment we left,
Right.
from going into our hotel to going to dinner to leaving dinner to walking around. And you feel really on high alert, and then that just kind of, made me feel scared to go places that I don't know anymore. And I mean, we've been fortunate that we've never been physically attacked. We've definitely been called out to. We've been recorded without our permission. We've definitely been followed. We've had our fair share of moments where we don't feel safe, and we're just very lucky that we've never actually been, physically
Okay,
attacked or anything. But basically, it's when Tadhg came up with this idea, I was like, yeah, we could have used this. We really need this, and now we are, in a position where we pass as as a straight couple, and we have some privileges where we can kind of move through life undercover a little bit if we want to, but that
okay.
doesn't make us
Yeah.
feel better that the rest of our community is still experiencing all of this. And it's just opened up a whole new set of struggles, especially for Tadhg being trans and knowing where he can really truly be safe and be himself and not have to worry about being outed or encountering any danger if he is outed. So yeah, it's just it's all about just keeping everybody safe and making sure that people feel welcome in the world.
This to me, I feel like I live life on fucking like in La La Land half the time. Like I've been in places before, like where shit's happened, but like even up to, during, and after, I'm like, oh. I think my attitude towards life is I just do things. So like I don't pay attention to anything around me half the time when I go abroad. So like the fact that these are things that actually happen is, I don't think people actually really understand it. It's like, it doesn't matter whether you're gay, straight, trans, not, like, you should be allowed to go on holiday. Going to a restaurant.
Exactly.
And like, I think it was after the first initial conversation I had with you about this, I was like, I don't really fully understand the niche of it or the necessity. But when you're telling stories like that, it's like, it's that light bulb of, oh, holy fucking Jesus Christ, this is the most obvious thing in the world. It shouldn't be necessary. It shouldn't be needed. But once you have a 5-minute conversation with someone that's, had these life experiences, you go, well, obviously you're not the only one. Obviously. So this makes so much sense. And it's a shame that we need something like this, but it's amazing that you're stepping up and going, right, fuck this. Let's create a platform where, people can go check out reviews on restaurants, or they can get recommendations of hotels. They can, cities. There's going to be places around the world, I'm sure, like there's areas of South America where it's like, fuck, you don't go there.
And that's exactly it. I think, a lot of people don't realize, because you've never had to ask yourself the question, right? So even like Allysa mentioned, until she was with me, it wasn't necessarily something that crossed her mind. It was like, obviously, as someone assigned female at birth, you go through life having to watch your back all the time anyway, right? But when you're in a same-sex relationship then with someone who's also assigned female at birth, like there's that added kind of like, oh shit, like we're actually a target here, right? So it's, you don't necessarily think about it, but anyone who is going through life as one of us in this community has that in the back of their minds.
It's a very different experience, because I mean, again, like I didn't realize I was queer, and then it was like a bomb went off. I was like, oh god, that makes so much sense. Everything is clearer now. But before that, I was identifying as just, a straight woman. I had an enormous amount of friends who were part of the community, and so, I wasn't disconnected from queer life and everything. But then, it's hard to explain it and have somebody truly understand it until they're actually in it. It's
and like,
go for it.
Sorry, go on.
No,
I was
go
going
on.
to say, like, don't get us wrong. Like, we know that there are a certain amount of like local resources, right? There are, like, this isn't like we've come up with this idea and it's never been thought of before. It's not even that. It's more that all of the solutions that we have come across, or that we have heard of, or our LGBTQ plus friends use, are very much kind of like localized. So it's about like, oh, there's here a really cool website for really cool places to go out in Barcelona or something like that, right? But an actual kind of global platform that is like powered by user input. So it's not even that, or like that a business can go onto it and advertise like proactively, like they get added by people that have been there, that have an experience, and that then rates them on their safety and inclusion for them. So it's a very subjective kind of like, okay, I was there, and for me this place was really inclusive because I'm within, it's not a monolith, the community is not a monolith, there's like all these like subsectors, subsections. So me as a trans queer man, if I go to this coffee place, I'll feel included, but someone else who is not specifically within that might not, kind of thing. So it gives the opportunity to really kind of rate and review based on what matters to people like you. And then the businesses, like, they can then, once they've been rated and reviewed, they can go in and they can claim their location in the business console, right? But it's not like businesses can go in and just kind of start advertising. Like we have a bit of a, not a safeguarding system, but we have this program called Shane Certification as well, which Allysa can go into detail a bit more
which we got,
about.
which we got a cert for, might I add.
Yes, exactly, right? Standard rat. And so like we're trying to create like a network also of places and entities that are really meeting the standards of what LGBTQ plus inclusion at a global scale should be, right? So it's kind of like this type of global platform is something that we haven't come across and that we haven't seen, and that is why we're different, is because we are this all-in-one unique kind of comprehensive platform that has the user input, the navigation aspect, the safety tools, and then also has the ability for businesses to come and authentically connect with that audience as well.
Cool. So so in the most basic sense, now very much correct me if and when I'm wrong.
Go for it.
It's kind of almost like a TripAdvisor review type infrastructure where if I'm going somewhere, I can go, okay, let me search this area, let me search locations, hotel, all this. But from a business perspective, they want to be able to also go, we have these facilities, like whether it's like bathroom situations or public areas or whatever it might be, they can actually go and like, we have these facilities. So both sides, then somebody as a user can come in and go, I like these brands, I connect with these brands because they care, or vice versa. The flip side, I'm going to New York. Where do I want to go where it's okay for me to go, where someone's not going to come at me or I'm going to be judged, where I can just be me, which really fucking pisses me off. Because I'm just like I was brought up, like my mother was always like, don't give a fuck about people to an extent. If someone's a dick, they're a dick, regardless of their gender, their behavior. It's your behavior that colors you, not your bits. And that's something that really, for me, I can't understand why people are so shit. But like, am I right in saying how this the platform works, or am I missing something here?
So yes, you are right on the user side. So the user right now on the web app, they can just go onto the web app. You don't have to create a profile. You don't have to, log in or anything. And you can just look up, hey, I'm going, say, on vacation to Rome, and I want to see what restaurants are around, or what hotels, or even around me, I'm looking for, say, a queer-friendly barber or hairdresser or whatnot. They'll be able to just kind of type that in, look up on the map and stuff, and they'll be able to see what other users have already added, like businesses and entities that they've already added, and what sort of reviews and ratings they've given. Because it's anonymous, it protects the user as well. Like, you can actually be honest, and you can't be like, there can't be any retribution, right? But we also have a certain amount of safeguards in place to make sure to prevent, trolling and that kind of stuff as well. But
we want to make sure that the businesses and services that are creating this open, welcome environment aren't, it's not possible to just kind of like tear places down randomly because of some kind of stupid, unwarranted reason.
And with the way well, you've got two sides. That you've got the cancel culture side, and then you've got the other side where I'm sure they'd love to spam and shut down places just because. Actually, can you explain this to me? So I know we went through the certification process. So I'm a company, I'm a business, and I want to get involved. I want to be able to put my business on the map, literally and figuratively in this case.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the process? What's the procedure? If so, like, because I'm sure there's loads of companies. Like, I know a couple of bars in Limerick that would love to be on the app. I know a few restaurants that would love to be on the app. So if I was to go into them and go, here's this app, what's the process? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so it's actually it's pretty straightforward to get started with applying for it. So they can go directly onto our website, which is getshane.io, and we have a tab in there, our Shane certification tab, that explains what the program is, and in there, I'll explain for a moment in a moment what it is. But in there, we have our application, which will take you through a series of questions. It asks what kind of entity you are, so that can be a business, a nonprofit, you can be a freelancer, you can be an artist, you can be a healthcare provider, some kind of just community organization. and how large your organization is. And then you will be given a series of questions that hits on every bit of criteria that we're looking for, such as, do your anti-discrimination policies include everybody of different identities? So not just on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, but also of different races, of different religions. We inclusion is really at the core of everything that we do. We want to make sure that places are inclusive of not just queer and gay identities, but also of gender non-conforming identities, because unfortunately that's not always a given. It's sometimes it requires an extra step. If places have gender neutral toilets, if people have feedback mechanisms or discrimination reporting policies and everything in place. So our application takes you through all of those questions, gives you an opportunity to explain a little bit more about yourself, send us any supporting documentation that you may have, or just kind of really tell us more about yourself. And we evaluate each application very carefully, and really take into consideration who these people are, what their policies state, what they really actually display through their own online presence or in-person presence, if it seems that we can verify that they are really who they say they are and that they live by what they put out there and what they say they are. And if we require additional feedback or proof of something, then we do get back in touch with them and require follow-up. And so it's a bit of a back and forth process. But then but then if everything goes well, which a lot of the time the applications that we get, they do go quite well, because people don't really go out of their way to apply for some kind of inclusive certification unless they really actually care about it, right? We definitely have had, I think, some applications that came in where people are just kind of trying to
tick a box and say words kind of thing.
Where we're kind of like, we don't really buy this doesn't seem correct.
Fake DEI, unlike what's happening in the States right now, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not talking about that today.
So and to explain, like I said, about exactly what Shane certification is, probably should have actually done this first, but anyway, here we are. Shane certification, it is available to all types of entities, like I explained before, who have inclusion very close to their hearts. They really care about making sure that everybody feels safe and welcome in their environment, or that they're included in the services that they provide, or if depending on what kind of organization they are, maybe it's about their internal practices. If they're a solopreneur or freelancer, it's about how they deal with clients, what kind of clients they take on, what kind of people they work with or represent. And so there's a lot of different ways to kind of show that you are this, inclusive, caring, safe person or entity. So, and that's essentially what this is. So we certify that we've vetted them for their inclusivity, and then it just makes it easier for our users to really know, okay, Shane has actually looked into this. They know that this place is for real, and it's not just like a bunch of this business's friends going online and saying like, yeah, they're awesome, they're great, blah, blah, blah. It's that we've actually looked into them, and we can say from what we have available to us, big disclaimer, like we can only go with as much as we can actually get access to, right? So what we can verify, yes, this place is actually worth giving your business to, or your using their services.
I mean, like, I love this because, like, the way the world seems to be right now, like, you can easily turn around to the businesses that are shitty and go, okay, I'm going to put my money elsewhere. Like, the only real way to affect business is to talk with your pocket. Like, that's the blunt reality. And being able to showcase caring and safety and everything that people just should have. Like, like, we do have a really good article over on the Goose site at the moment from a previous conversation, just breaking down what shit is. But like, since I wrote that article, I think it needs an update because y'all been busy. Y'all been busy.
Been busy.
We have been busy.
So we have web app currently live, right?
Yeah,
That's
in
the
beta.
MVP. We have
Beta.
a mobile app coming.
Yes.
We have fundraising to be happening, and we have a
Yep.
whole pile of staff we're hiring. Where do you
Yes.
want to start? Because
Where do you
wanna
want to start?
I want to know what's
Oh,
happening.
God.
I feel like we've got the backstory now. It's like, right, where are we at now? What's happening, and where are we going? Talk to me.
So I guess
God.
chronologically, web app beta went live in December. We field tested it in January and February. We identified a bunch of bugs that we needed to fix, and the GA stable release should be happening any hour. Honestly, we have our tech team basically working on the fixes right now. We want to make sure that we're not pushing something out that isn't ready to go to prod, right?
And can I add
so
one quick little thing to
Yep.
that, Tadhg? Is we do have actually on our web app also a form where if there are bugs that come up, just for anybody who's curious, if there are bugs that come up, you can actually log it and it'll go directly to our tech team to sort through it. So we're still always going to be evolving and listening
Yeah.
to, you know, what's not working for the users even after the stable release. So
Exactly.
you may
We want to make
continue.
sure that we're building something that is not only working, but it's also impactful, right, for the users themselves. So yeah, on the web app, that's the web app. What we've done over the last 6 weeks now is basically we needed to, let's put it this way, our desired timeline to get our mobile app built was to have the MVP ready for launch with Pride season, right? Pride season kind of goes from May to September. So we were like, okay, if we can get something built that we can get out there, that users start testing it out, something that is, you know, basic enough in its functionality, but that will be impactful already, that would be fantastic. Because with what's going on in the world, without getting into detail around it, there was suddenly much more of an urgency. So there was already an urgency, and now it's like, okay, we're almost kind of like in crisis response mode for a certain amount of geographies, especially because our target markets are North America and then Western Europe, just for our launching. So we basically have added in, how many people did we actually proactively add in already? I think it's 3. And we're adding in another 4 or 5 over the coming weeks. So yeah, we're fortunate as a mission driven tech for good startup. We're fortunate that a lot of people want to contribute to making this a reality. And we are pre-revenue and we are pre-funding. We're all currently unpaid volunteers, which is, for a for-profit company, is a bit weird to be able to get people in to basically work for free. But it's not a business model. Like, this is not what we want long term. This is literally just because we want to bring this solution out there to actually have an impact. And in order to do that, we need more people, and those people answered the call. So
yeah,
we're
and
very
honestly,
fortunate.
it's been amazing to see how many people really want to just like help, knowing that like right now, like we have no money to pay them. I mean, we've gotten hundreds, like I think over 500-600 applications for people to join the team and help out, which is just absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah,
Fucking
people from
beautiful.
everywhere.
So
yeah, from everywhere, all levels of experience as well. Some really senior, some very early stage career, even some people who are still, like, say, in high school and who just kind of want to get involved because they're part of the community and they want to help build a solution that will like directly help them as well in their lives, right? And so we've been able to kind of like build to get fill in the gaps that we had in the tech team, and so that's accelerated our timeline, right? So now we are able to basically say that our MVP for the mobile app is currently scheduled to go live in beta, right, at the end of June, right? So that is kind of like the middle of Pride season. We just brought in someone who's going to lead our marketing on the B2C side to kind of really kind of build up.
You'll be seeing a lot more of us.
I'm more than
get ready to be
more than
spammed.
happy to give them an hour session if you ever need it to go talk marketing. So if you ever want an extra pair of hands just to give an oversight on marketing 101, Book me with them.
Amazing.
I'm sure they'd love
That's
that.
my wheelhouse. Pictures on the internet. It's the
Yeah.
only thing I'm qualified in.
Excellent.
we will take you up on that offer. And see, that's exactly what I mean, is that, you know, this is, you know, people want to get involved, people want to help with this, because it will have like a real life impact on people's lives. And, you know, there's 1 out of 10 adults out there identify as LGBTQ plus. 30% of Gen Z identify as LGBTQ plus. That means that 1 out of 3 Gen Z people out there that you see, that you know, are probably part of the community, right? So it's like, this might not affect you directly, but it affects people that directly know you or that directly interact with you, right? So we're very fortunate in that. We obviously want to get to a place where we're starting to generate revenue, so that we can start, you know, compensating people, that we can start, you know, making this a sustainable business. But for now, we're like, okay, gung ho, like this is it, like just push. Let's get it out there. And so yeah, that's our timeline, I guess. Yeah.
I like that. I love this. It's like there's something beautiful about this tech for good space, because, as you said, like in like my business area, like getting 10 volunteers to do social media and app building ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's like, what do you mean? You're going to go try and make a shitload of money off football, or it's like, well, I'm not helping you. Whereas something like this, like, actually, this is going to affect people day to day. This is something that can actually make a difference in, like, if 100 people use it and only one person gets a benefit, then it served its fucking purpose. Which is why I think it makes so much sense for people of all different, like, seniority levels of background to go, no, like, I know someone, or I am, and these are things that I didn't have, so I'm more than willing to help you, because I can see that this is something that either someone I care about could use, or something that I could have used when I was younger, or something I can use now going forward. So, like, it's a really beautiful space where, in other businesses you'd have to pay straight away to play, whereas with this, like, the community is there, it's growing, it's been, I suppose, what's the word I'm looking for, like, it's been pushed down for so long, where it's like, fuck that, no, not doing that anymore, let's do something right and do something proper, and go and can't care less about your opinion, this needs to happen, like, you know. I suppose where I find this is going to get very fun for you now is the next step, which is the show me the funding money.
Exactly, right. That's big next step. So, like, one of the things that we're going to do, especially because we've realized that there is so much popular, I guess, support there, is a traditional crowdfunding campaign. Because we looked at different options, and we just kind of figured, you know, we got to start somewhere, right? And right now, like, we're bootstrapped, and unfortunately, there's a limit to the amount of budget there is there, coming from basically our personal savings. And so we are going to launch that once we have our our B2C marketing lead in place. She is starting this week. And we will be launching this on our social media platforms. We'll be using Indiegogo as a platform to do this. And people can contribute as little or as much as they want. We have a certain amount of perks as well.
And when is this going live? Because this is the big part. When is this going live? Because we're going to want a link. Because we're going to have to blow this up, because crowdfunding, we love it.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're currently aiming for the end of March. We kind of want to see with our marketing lead how much lead time they would need in order to kind of spread the word before we actually launch the campaign. Because there's a lot of just kind of building that momentum, that early kind of buzz around it, that makes a big difference, right? So people want to contribute more when they see there's already, like, you know, oh, there's already X amount in this, right? And then
we want to make sure that our messaging is really, really clear with it, and 100%. Make sure that people know that we're not doing crowdfunding so that Tadhg and I can start getting money in our pockets or something, right? We're doing this so that we can build out the platform and actually make it accessible to people, because, you know, we're without some funding, like, we're kind of stuck where we are now, you know. So it's an absolute necessity to keep the product going.
This is something
even just covering our costs.
I think that the tech space needs to. I think we're getting better at it, but we're not. It's this thing of it's that quick turnaround. It's that quick impact turnaround of, if I give you X, I want Y by, and it's like, oh, hold on, there's a step, step to this.
Yeah.
And I think this is where the crowdfunding model also works for traction, to show the big houses later and go, well, look, 100 people put their hand in their pocket because they believe in this. I think there's this lovely trick that I've seen 100 times with all the fundraisers. Predominantly, you get one big push on the first donation. Nobody wants to be the person putting a $5 in when four of them put a 20 or a 50 or 100. You get one or two nice meaty donations to start with. It's like, you'll have the person going, yeah, I'll throw a $5. It's like, oh shit, everybody else is throwing 20. Go on, so.
Yeah. Exactly. And you know, the person we're bringing in for marketing has a good amount of experience when it comes to consumer facing marketing. So we are going with someone who has a bit of a track record already, and we'll be working very closely with her on this type of campaign. But yeah, to your point about, you know, external funding, it's not been easy, for sure. I mean, I think every entrepreneur, startup founder, you know, goes through a bit of a, you know, learning curve around why does no one else make money? That as well. But yeah, as I think, like, ultimately kind of what we also realize is that as a tech for good company, we want to stay aligned with our mission, right? So we want to make sure that whoever we start partnering with, be it, you know, formal investors or just angel investors, we want to make sure that those people understands the value proposition, the fact that there is a lot of money to be made here, but that money is paired with impact, right? So it's really, it's on an equal level importance that the impact.
We're never going to sacrifice the mission or the impact or our users for
exactly,
you know, anything
mission over money.
So.
Yeah, and because like we want to make sure that we're building something that is impactful for people, right? And those people, especially the ones who are they're like us, right? They're going to be using this application for their everyday lives. They're going to trust us a certain amount, that we are providing them with tools that are really dedicated to creating that safe environment for them to explore their world. Like, we want to make sure that we never break that trust, right? And that has to be from the bottom, from the foundations up, right? So beyond, and that's kind of why I started by when you asked me what is Shane Collective, you know, we're not just, oh, we're building an app, right? It's like we're building a company that is built on solid foundations, that has core values, that is mission driven, and we're going to make sure that we stay true to us, who we are at our core, moving forward. And we will get there. It might just not be, you know, like you said, an AI startup that is, you know, that just touched on something like super in demand and, you know,
for me, it's the buzzword bingo. Fuck, like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, did you say crypto and AI and Web3 all in the same thing? Hello, here's a check. No.
But I mean, I'd rather it take forever, and for us to stay true to ourselves and align with the right people who really care about what we care about than sell ourselves out.
And this, actually, that's very funny, because this was something that Goosed was actually very much built on. Like, we didn't do advertising for our first 8 years because the whole point of the mission of our thing was tech you'll get. And if we were teaching people about this, you know, trying to make people understand, like, Alexas and, you know, these devices, and then pushing ad on the site, it didn't match the statement. So like, and realistically, from Google Ads revenue, we were probably going to get 50 quid here, 60 quid there, 100 quid there, and we were kind of running the numbers and going, for the sake of what's really only the kind of money that pays for, like, hosting and servers, is it worth sacrificing the quality on the site in return for? It was only really in the last 2 years where we reskinned the site and we actually, like, were able to, like, break in natural boundaries so that the ads aren't prohibited on the site when we started doing it, because we're like, I suppose we'd rather have some side income coming in than not at all. But like, it took 8 years for Goose to have one ad on the site. We've never done sponsor content. Nobody's allowed to pay us for content. We want to keep our voice ours, so we will never do branded content. Now, don't get me wrong, people do send us stuff and we do get to play with it and use it, doesn't mean we're necessarily going to be nicer to them as a result. So all our opinions are not paid for opinions. It's us telling our honest truth, which that was something that we were really stuck on for years, because it would have been easy to sell out and go, yeah, Samsung, pay us money and we'll tell everyone you're fucking great. But then I have no credibility and I can't back that up later. No, not doing that. And like, it's a very different space, but it's that thing of we have a goal, we have a statement, and we will fucking stand by it. And I love that. I have two questions left for you, and then we'll go. Then we can all go about our days. The first question is, what's next? Where are we going? What is the? If I was to say, right, talk to me this time next year, where's Shane going to be?
This time next year.
Give me the crystal ball.
I mean, we've got quite a little diagram going of some things. I don't know what you want to share, Tadhg.
Yeah, I mean, first on if we look at where we were at this time last year, right? I think that's kind of, I guess, the trick here is this time last year there was 3 of us.
Yes.
There was a CTO, a founder, and a co-founder, and we had nothing. We had an idea and we were working on prototype. Now there's 11 of us, and we have a web app live, and we're in 3 months going live with the mobile app. This time next year, we will have launched. We will have businesses that are using our business products within the console. We're going to have users using our app globally. We're going to have sustainable revenue coming in from that, right? And we'll be self-sustaining. That's where I see us being in a year, right? Is in a position where not only we're self-sustaining, but we're able to use our profits in order to expand into the new markets that we have. Ultimately, right? Like I said, there's 1 in 10 adults globally that identifies as LGBTQ+. Out of that, statistically speaking, there's about 40% that are out. And then within that, we're targeting Gen Z and millennials because they're digital natives. They're the most kind of likely to use apps to go about their daily lives. They represent about combined about 40% of the adult population. So the target is huge. So you know, we'll be somewhere on that road. But from a product perspective, like I said, we're building out Shane Collective from the ground up on really solid foundations, and we have a certain amount of products that are already in the backlog, so that are already being thought about. We have a head of product who just joined last week, and we had a great session actually yesterday, just talking about, you know, the product roadmap and what features, what modules are being rolled out first, etc. So we'll have the mobile app rolled out with search, rate, and review, with the safety tools, and the additional module that I don't think you were aware of this one, is we're going to focus on a travel module as well. So basically a sort of like a everything that you need when it comes to planning your travel. So like planning a vacation, we're going to use AI to basically build out a concierge for like who you are.
You said the word. You said the word.
But it's for the effectiveness of what it can do, right? And the scalability and stuff. But we're using it with human in the loop, right? There's always going to be human in the loop on our end. We want to make sure that whatever, you know, goes out there is trusted.
So I'm going to send the Panza down in May. I'll be able to do a little pre-search, will I? Or is that
so?
Or will it be a bit later down the track?
It's currently, and that was the debate yesterday. My view is that the MVP is getting pushed out with search, rate, and review, and you're able to create a profile, and also a basic kind of scaled down version of what the travel concierge is, right?
Sure.
And then in the following kind of updates, you'll have the safety tools and the actual kind of travel, like figuring out how to get from A to B, and then also the navigation. So with mobility, e-mobility, and also autonomous driving, etc. Everything always focused on LGBTQ plus safety and inclusion. So like, how do you get safely with the providers that are inclusive from A to B kind of thing, right?
This all makes so much fucking sense. It's ridiculous. ridiculous.
With the backstory, it does, right?
Like, it all makes so much sense. It's ridiculous. I mean, like, I love this. And like, the thing that probably stands out and impresses me most is, having spoken to you for the first time nearly a year ago, the speed in which you've moved in a year is bananas. It's genuinely super impressive to get from where you were when I met you first to web app coming, staffing, crowdfunding. Done that in all under a year. Like, that's not common. Like, that's something to be, one, very proud of, and two, any like potential people who have been looking at it and going, I don't know. Yeah, a year. This is the progress we've made. Like, fuck me. But I don't need to give you the big pitch. I want you to give me the sign-off pitch. Tell me, how do people find you? How do people get involved? How do they talk to you? I don't know. You tell me. What do we want to say to people right now before we wrap it up?
Yeah. So I guess anyone who is interested in the solution, as either a member of the community or who knows someone of the community, you can go to getchain.io. You can sign up for early access to our mobile app. You'll get notified when we're ready to launch it. You'll be amongst the first to try it out. You can already go to map.getchain.io to actually use the web app as well. Just add your reviews, your ratings, etc. Because it's user powered, the more users we have using it, the more useful it's going to become, right?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of that, on the business side, Allysa.
Yeah, if there's a business or a community organization or anything of the sort that is interested in chain certification, so that you can kind of work more closely with us and just highlight your inclusivity to the world, then you can also get in touch with us directly through our website.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then last thing is obviously we have the crowdfunding coming up. If anyone wants to get involved and support this, obviously that would be fantastic. If you know people who want to, also just spread the word. And then if you want to follow on our socials, we have Instagram, even TikTok, which
everything's at
even TikTok. Disclosure, I don't know a lot about TikTok. I'm learning, but yeah, we have Instagram.
So
TikTok,
next time I'm now down your way, we're going to do the what's the current one? The Super Bowl walk.
I don't even know what that is, but yeah.
I don't even know.
We need to get you proper on TikTok. So yeah,
I don't even know what that is, and I am on TikTok a bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're on all of those, and because we have someone coming in for marketing, there is going to be a lot of content coming, right? So follow us.
Yeah, don't worry. I know if you go to our pages right now, it's going to be like, have they been sleeping? What's going on? No, but don't worry. We have somebody coming who's going to really revitalize this. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn. You can find both of us there if you want to message us directly, even to talk about anything. So yeah, we're around.
I'm going to give the big sales pitch finish because I'm going to say it straight out here. Shane Collective is something I think is absolutely one of the most necessary bits of tech I've seen over the last few years. Anybody who has a couple of quid, whether it's the price of a coffee or more, preferably more, drop the hand into the pocket, give the lads a few quid on the crowdfunder, pass it on to your friends, because guess what? Your friends are going to want to need it, use it, want it too. So the more support that we can get the guys, the more they're going to be able to do, the quicker they're going to be able to build. So, do the thing, help a good cause, help tech for good. And, I think that's the big pitch for now. From my side, we are on all of the social channels, bar that other place, that the cesspit of humanity, the artist formerly known as Twitter. We're not on there. We're on all of the others at Goosed_ie. You will find out this on Spotify, YouTube, video, and anywhere else you get the podcast. So on that note, good day, good morning, goodbye, good night, good evening. I don't know, whenever the hell you're watching or listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys, so much for coming today. This has been really fun and really insightful for me. I hope other people have got as much out of it as I have, and I'm very excited to see where you go next. So thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, John. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Catch you again on the next time. Bye.
Yeah.